Yes, we discussed today already how mentoring is going to change in the future. So this is one example. We start with reflective questions, not end with reflective questions. So for me, it's I think I'm a curious problem solver, and that's how my life was shaped in a sense. I was in parallel building my business and going through my academic studies. In 2013, I exited my fintech company and started doing angel investments, and quite soon I understood that the key for startup founders to succeed is mentoring. I started mentoring companies in my portfolio, then founders of very different companies, helping them to shape their hard skills, transferring soft skills that they missed. In my world, it's not a bug, it's a feature. Normally, startup founders come either students or academics or people from corporate world. So they just didn't have a reasonable chance to get those soft skills that they need to succeed in that new venture. And by mentoring, they bridge this gap, and this is why I'm here today.
Mentoring is often the invisible catalyst for individuals to grow, for organizations to change, and for startups to succeed. And Andrei, you researched and invested in hundreds of founders and companies. How has mentoring changed their ability to grow and scale?
And this is the question that cost me 4 years of my life while I was writing my thesis. And hopefully I found an answer. And I had to start with actually what mentoring is, because again, in the world of startup mentoring, there is a very prominent problem of mentoring inflation, as they call it. So people call mentoring very, very different things. My favorite one, yesterday I had a 15-minute mentoring session with a startup founder. Like, what did you have? Actually. And that was one of the things I had to adjust to doing the research, that mentoring is mid to long-term iterative engagement. It can be done like in one session, 2 sessions. It's really a relationship. And if you look through this lens, when you do this mentoring properly, so that happens as more or less on the same other activity. You see a founder who struggles with something. And one of the questions in the research was not how mentoring improves the person, but how mentoring impacts the venture, the business, which this person does. And I had to do a systematic literature review when I started doing this research. I was reasonably certain I'll find a lot of papers. Ended up with 34 over the last 25 years. A third of them great literature.
Did you, from an investor's perspective, see the increase of the startup's value when they get a mentor?
Not a value per se, it's survivability and chances to succeed. Actually, what we see is that proper mentoring accelerates startup progress and helps them evade obvious mistakes. That's another analogy I use quite often. It's kind of teaching somebody playing chess. First, they need to know how figures move, what's allowed, what's disallowed. And then within the subset of allowed moves, how to identify moves that are better in this position. And if you work like that, systematically, they avoid very grave mistakes that would cost them not only money, but the most crucial resource, which is time.
Capital risks and everything. Where do you see founders mostly need of mentoring, and where do they resist it?
Founders need mentoring mostly when they just begin. Because, as I said initially, they simply lack the soft skills which will enable them to be successful. And one of the questions that I often receive is like, how you measure if your mentoring was successful? It's easy. When they don't need me any longer, then it was a smashing success. And another option is when they decided that they don't want to do what they wanted to do. And it's also a great, actually, result, because they saved a few years of unnecessary pain and suffering.
And Andrzej, you said that AI can give mentors sharper insights. Can you share an example where tech actually helped you see something earlier or clearer?
Sure, and the part of the answer I stand outside of the door, frankly speaking, full disclosure. But you know, it's an interesting question. My esteemed colleague for Research Center for Excellence, JAS, a few days ago facilitated a very interesting webinar on the research of Professor Niki Terbalanch and the team about is the AI-enabled chatbot following specific models are worse or better or equal to the coaches, to the human coaches. And they came to a surprising conclusion that they are as good as coaches. Which is for me a little, initially it was kind of not logical for me, because we live in the era of generative AI, not of artificial general AI, or superintelligence. So they think is kind of still more stupid than we are. It's a very sophisticated database, statistical algorithm, which knows how to find data and how to process data. But again, I'll switch to a question in the next sentence. How do you know that AI hallucinates? No, we all say it hallucinates. How do you know that? Because humans know that it hallucinates. AI doesn't. It's just a tool so far. But if you know how to use it, and you can process the conversations with your mentees using trained models, which actually what we are trying now, it's very powerful. It's very powerful. Again, my students quite often see AI as ancient Greeks saw an oracle. You know, they come, ask a question, get an answer, take an answer, and act on that, not asking further questions, like oracle spoken. And that's what I tell them, don't do that. It's not. But it's a very big help. So you see that it finds patterns in conversation that you did not see. It finds data in conversation that you did not notice. It shows you how you use models, even if you did not notice that you use models. It checks your ethical approach, if it is properly trained, and gives you a hint that maybe you kind of either overstepped a boundary or stayed within the boundaries. So in a sense, it's already a supervisor for you or a colleague for you. And as it grows, as it becomes more and more complex and strong, it will become a full-fledged colleague.
Well, I have a question. You have been talking a bit on it, both of you, but when it comes to AI, where is the line? What will AI never be able to do?
You know, today it's not sentient, right? It's a logical algorithm, not sentient. Probably it will become one. Because again, if we speak about artificial general intelligence, it's on par with a human. And it's your colleague. If we speak about superintelligence, it's more powerful than a human. What's emotion? What's intuition? Again, it's a lot of conversations, you know much better than myself. But intuition for me, it's just your personal database. Again, like, you know, how your reptilian brain processes signal that you receive. But now I am passing the mic to a person who knows much more about it.